All righty. Unmute Lawrence and you should be good to go.
So good morning, everybody. August 5, very auspicious day. So the slaughterhouse of failure is not in our destiny. We shall persevere until we succeed. It's a little modified Ogmadino, but it's very important because, you know, we say it every time, but we've got to inculcate it in our brains that the slaughterhouse of failure is not in our destiny. We're leaders, we're champions, we're phenomenal. So today we're going to talk about the dot. Dan brought it up some time ago, about a year or two ago, but we're going to go through it again. We're going to talk about the dot, and it's being a sniper. It's identifying a very specific target. The other thing we're going to also get into is what made you click into action. What was your motivation to actually get into this business? And so we'll start off with those two, and then we'll go from there. Dan?
Well, yeah, awesome. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining us here. You know, this Friday, we do this every Friday at 9:30, and you know, a lot of us have just gotten back from the fly-in out in Utah, which I thought was a great event. Probably, you know, one of the best ones I've been to in a while. Really have things dialed in. Scott Bennett did a fantastic job running the show, and he had some kind of new presentations, and it was just a really, really great event. And then I spent 5 or 6 days out there hiking and camping and spending time with myself solo and thinking about things, thinking about, you know, the world. And, you know, then I found out about this Time to Thrive thing that's going on right now on Facebook with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. And there's a lot of good material in there. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about today. But one of the women that's doing that is she's taking notes on a daily basis, and she's a pretty gifted illustratress. So I've been downloading her notes every day. And at the end of this 5 or 6 day challenge, I'll put everything together in a PDF and make sure that everybody on the team gets a copy of it. But one of the things that they talk about is the dot. And the dot is just essentially figuring out, getting laser focused on a problem that you can solve, or a dream you can help expedite. You know, what can you create to give somebody a shortcut to success, really talking about how we can serve others. You know, and I've kind of flipped the script when I'm talking to people about this being an opportunity for me to be able to serve others, utilizing the experience that I have over 25 years in medical device sales and business and life in general. And so, you know, the dot is really about, you know, getting hyper focused, laser focused on something that we can help people achieve what they want to achieve, whether it's achieve their goals or achieve better health, or, you know, anything you can think of. I mean, people are out there coaching on, you know, thousands and thousands of different topics. And when you start looking at this business, this business is a coaching business. Because we're building teams, so it's leadership, it's entrepreneurship, but it's also, you know, helping people grow personally. And how do they do that? You know, a lot of people, you know, spend a lot of time thinking about what they want to do or where they want to go in life, but they never take that action to get there. You know, one of the things that I started on my little vacation was, my new motto is going to be, why wait? So, you know, anything that is suggested to me, you know, if somebody says, hey, you want to go jump off a cliff tomorrow? I'm going to be like, sure, why wait? You know, I'm going to probably do it eventually, but why not get started today? Right. And that's that, you know, a lot of people have that hesitancy, and it comes from fear. They want to do things. They want to reach certain goals. They want to succeed. They want to better their lives. They want a better lifestyle, all of these different things. But then that fear kicks in, and it kind of sets things back, or they never really achieve their goals or become the best versions of themselves.
So if we think about that, you know, in our own unique way of thinking and being, why wait actually dovetails, or the dot dovetails into why wait. when we look at who we're talking to, for example, Dan is a person that likes to wander around the woods and up in the mountains on his own and reflect and meditate in his way of doing things and climbing mountains and stuff. And for example, if he was to do a blog on that, he would find people that are exactly like-minded with him, millions and millions of people. But when we talk about our business, we start talking about, we're looking at 7 billion people around the planet. That's that little target in the middle there. And the 7 billion people, we think, oh my God, there's everybody out there. But actually the way to do it is to find people that are exactly in sync with you. And you don't have to find them, they'll find you. So, you know, you've got a unique perspective on life, on whatever it is that you are, and you'll find people are looking for the same thing. And this is one of the big things that the dot is all about, is to find, to surround yourself with people, eventually like-minded people, and they have a common thing, a common theme. So you're all, you know, Graciosi was talking about some of the people that have been successful in finding in the dots that they found. It may be, for example, somebody looking for and saving, you know, the barn owl in Kansas, if there is such a thing, and they're probably, or the barn owl species, and they're probably millions of people around the world looking for that barn owl, and they have the same interests, and they're probably millions of people with the same interest. That's the point, that we don't have to look at the 7 billion. We can just look specifically at what we're looking for, and then the people, and we can talk about it. We can on social media. This is where we start announcing it, and we don't have to be afraid to get out there and say, give our message or whatever it is. And then that's doves in with why wait? You can do it right now. You can talk about any particular subject that you're particularly passionate about, and you'll find that people will say, wow, that's cool, yeah, and I agree. And then suddenly you've got a following of hundreds of people, or maybe thousands of people.
Yeah, you know, it's about surrounding yourself with people, like-minded people. It's about surrounding yourself with positive people. You know, we are who we surround ourselves with. And that's one of the things that I love about this business and the forum in particular, is that, you know, all the people there are just really genuinely good people. And they're all, you know, they all know their value. We all have value. We've come from different industries or different walks of life. And then, you know, it's about serving other people, but we have to be able to serve from the heart. And then, you know, the other part of that is, you know, solving problems. You know, when we're talking to prospects or we're talking to physicians, you know, we need to be inside the mind of our prospects and trying to solve that problem that they may have. And then having this framework, you know, helps take care of some of that, or get rid of some of that fear about, you know, hey, I've got this problem that I can solve. You know, I have a dream that I can help expedite. And then, you know, when I was out hiking, you know, I was doing it solo, but you would be surprised how, if you've never done that, you would be surprised how many people are out there kind of doing it solo. And a lot of women, believe it or not, which I find very, I think that's awesome. But I had a lot of conversations with people, and everybody's kind of chasing the same thing right now. They want more time freedom. They want a better lifestyle. They want to be able to go out and do more of these things that they want to do, not things that they have to do. So it's about designing your own life rather than having somebody else design it for you. Right? You know, if you've got a 9-to-5 job, your job, your life is designed around time. You know, if you're an employee, your life is designed around your boss, your manager, your CEO. You know, how do you, if that's not what you want, if that's not how you're going to live your best life, how do you move forward and create your own lifestyle, create the life that you've always wanted? And, you know, this business is a way to do that. This business is a way that we can serve others, and bring value to others, to help them grow. And so, like I said in the beginning, it's a leadership business. It's a personal growth business. It's entrepreneurial. There's just so many things to like about it. And there's so many formulas that we have in place on the skincare side or on the scanner side. Everything's kind of put in place for you. But what the biggest thing that I've noticed in my 4 years doing this is, a lot of people come in and then they have a goal. They join the business and they have a goal, and they don't reach it as fast as maybe they want to. So we really need to talk to people about stretching their goals. You may not hit your goal in a month. You may not hit your goal in 2 months. Set reasonable expectations for goals. When I first started the business, I thought I was going to go out and place 100 scanners my first month. I didn't place a scanner until like my 6th month. And that was kind of a blow to me, and that's when I kind of had to change my mindset. This is a teamwork business. I wasn't used to that. And so I kind of had to wrap my mind around that. But you also need to learn how to stretch your goals. We tend to overestimate what we can do in a year, and we underestimate what we can do in 5. So it's not always the short game. I look at this business as a long-term opportunity that, for me, it's probably 5 or 6 years till I really get it to where I want it to be. But as long as you're setting smaller goals, and that you have that wildly important goal, and then you're focused with the power of the dot, you just have to remain committed, disciplined, and taking action on a daily basis.
You've just said something, Dan, that I think is very relevant. We're talking about your experience and your expectation, and you thought you're going to place this 100 scanners in the first sort of month, and you didn't place until 6 months. Well, that's a general story that people can say, well, actually, that happened to me. Oh, wow, I can equate with that. But if there is a yardstick to go by, where you can talk about it openly, about what your experience was, then your experience is, what problems can you solve for other people? That's what this becomes. How can we help other people solve their problems by our own experience? Because we are working at doing something. What goal or dream can we help to expedite? So, why did it take you 6 months? Why did it take, your expectation was 100. Why? Because you had the experience, and you knew that you knew your market and everything else, and you were pretty, bullshy about it, but it didn't happen. Now, most people, or many people, will say, oh, this is something I can't do. And they are starters, but they're not finishers. And we've got to have the determination and the consistency and the clear goal in mind. Like you've just said, now it may take you 5 years. Well, what's 5 years when you spend 25 years doing 24/7 in the operating room, and you had no time in your life? Here you've done this for 2 years now, 2.5, 3 years. And what? You took a week to go playing around the mountains by yourself for a while, and enjoying life and meditating and giving time for you. How many people can do that? So, what can we create to make a shortcut to success for other people? This is what this is about. That's why we get on these calls, because we want to hear and see, how did you do it? How did that guy do it? How come he's gotten, how come he placed 3 scanners this month? I haven't placed a scanner for 3 months. Well, it's about a plan of action. It's about a very clear plan of how he did it and how we can help other people do it. This is what it's about.
Or approach it differently. A lot of people, they come from a sales background, get into this business, and they just think it's sales. Sell a product, make money. But we really need to start focusing on the needs of our customer or the needs of our prospect. And like I said in the beginning, get in the mind of your prospect. Start thinking from their standpoint. What problem can we solve of theirs? What do we need to educate them on that's going to make the needle move forward for them? Rather than, we can't have expectations, and we can't be taking action from what this brings to us. We need to think about it from how can we serve others? How can we help people become healthier? Through the antioxidant score and our world-class supplementation. How can we help physicians? How can we serve physicians? We can offer them an ancillary revenue source that's going to not only help them, but help their patients. And now we're helping them through serving the physician, they're serving their patients, right? And a lot of people get into sales and they think it's something that you do to somebody. It's something that you do with somebody. And, that with is serving them and coming to the transaction from a place of service and what you can do for that particular person to help them.
So when we talk about, what we've done or what each one of us, every single person on this call is better than somebody else at in their little niche or their niche. So thinking about that, and there was a number given that education, $690 billion a year is spent on education. And it's 7% less every year. So 7% less of 690 billion is a hell of a lot of money. What does that mean? It means that there's still the same demand for skills is out there. But the education that is there is now in many ways obsolete. And in our case, we have something that we can educate people on from real experience. It's not like going to university. We got a professor, who has got a PhD in something, and he's never really been. I'm not criticizing, but he's never been out there in the trenches to make it happen. The professors of business should be people who have failed their way to the top and who've understood just how difficult the reality is, because when in college we're told you just do this and this and this and this, and that's the formula for success. Well, it's not. That's absolutely not. That's just a roadmap, but they haven't talked about the potholes and the turns and the cliffs and everything else that are on the road to that success. So we actually are in a position where we've started a new business, all of us, that is not in our traditional our own expertise, as it were. And we're now becoming successful in this new business. And we've got the tools, and we've now got the way to help people find and learn from our mistakes. So for example, Dan, when you said, find a different way. So, 100 scanners you wanted to place because you were so sure you could do it. So Jerry Savage was the same thing. He's on the call too, I think. He thought he was going to place, 100 scanners a week. Well, it doesn't happen. And then you said, well, we've got to find a better way. And this is where our experience, and this is what I think is important, the experience of how we are doing this and collectively understand that we can help and guide a lot of people to achieve their success in this business. Because the rest, a lot of things are theory, but this is real. This is in the trenches stuff. And the idea is to be, what I like is, be king of your puddle. I like that. Find your puddle and be king in it. In other words, really dominate your area of wherever you are. And we can do this. And by learning from everybody collectively what is happening. That's why I was thinking about doing a retreat after the event in Utah, where we can actually all have an opportunity to be able to speak freely about all of our inhibitions and our cobwebs, the cobwebs we've got in our mind, to be able to get rid of them and learn from people like yourself, like Joe Scalia, like people who've been in this business for a long time, and why we fail. When did we fail? It's a good thing to fail. It's really a good thing because there's a whole lot of psychological things that go involved with that.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that failure is a part of the process. Every single one of us on this call has failed numerous times. I've probably failed more than most, but I've also succeeded more than most. And it's through that failure and it's through not giving up. I've brought a lot of medical device reps into this business, and a lot of them said, from the get-go, they're like, "Oh, I'm going to crush this," and but they go out and they get a couple of no's, and the next thing, they're out. It's like they thought it was going to be really easy, and the second they realize that it's a little bit more difficult than they thought, they say, "Okay, this isn't for me. How do I send my scanner back?" And I'm like, seriously, that's all you're going to give it? I don't know how you can be successful in anything with that kind of an attitude. But it happens. I've had people on our Tuesday night team calls who came on and they were, so smug about how they were going to kill it. And, I've had people tell me, "Oh, I'm gonna be way more successful at this than you," and then like 2 months later they're gone. And I'm like, it takes more fortitude to be successful than a couple of months and a couple of no's and a couple of failures. It's how you react to those failures and how you move forward and how you don't give up. But what I love about this business is it's a business of service. If you're helping other people reach their goals, you're going to reach your goals in turn. So really what we need to do is find 4, 5, 6 people that we can really engage in this business that have an interest in it, and then finding out what their goals are. What is their dot? And how do we help them achieve their goal? Or what's their wildly important goal? And let's map it out. How are we going to get you there? Lawrence has done a fantastic job with John Swartz with this. Look, you got to do X amount of calls. You got to do X amount of 3-way calls. You got to do X amount of presentations. You got to get on all these Monday, Wednesday, Friday calls. You got to, do your getting started call. You got to get on our team call. You've got to come out to the forums. He's a perfect example of what you can do when you follow the formula, and then you're committed and you're disciplined in your work.
Yeah. You mentioned, for example, John, and John for 2 years didn't really engage at all. But I never gave up because I could feel, I could see the potential in the person, and the potential. And honestly, look at the what he's writing now on Facebook, on his face page and so on, as an example. And you and everybody else, everybody will all we've got to do is find the click in each person. And that was the other point I mentioned at the beginning. What made you click to start? In one of these talks yesterday that I was listening to as well from Thrive was a person who wasn't doing anything. His bills were piling up. He was living in his girlfriend's apartment, and the bills were on the bed because he had a small little desk that he borrowed from his mom. He was unemployed, and he was supposed to be writing a book. And his girlfriend, who was actually supporting him, got into bed, and she got under the covers, and his bills were on top of the covers. And that was his embarrassment. For him, that was the click. That was something that says, "Oh my God, this is just the worst." So the click, what is it that makes us click to actually get into action? What is that little trigger that we find that can motivate somebody into doing something. Mike Cook, same thing. Mike Cook he was a very successful businessman, and he was, you know, he had a lot of mishaps with life with his, I don't want to get into it, but he's like everybody else. And then suddenly he clicked, and that's it. Your click was what? Working 24/7. You didn't have time to go to the toilet. And you know, for 25 years, 24/7, seriously? What kind of life is that? And then suddenly something clicked in you and said, no, this is not right. This is not life. This is not okay. And that click, and then we find the dot in there that is your dot. We've got to find the dot in everybody. And the dot, our own dot, we've got to find. And by finding our own dot, we can then find the dot in others. And right now, everybody on this call at some stage is fairly like-minded to us, because we're looking at healthcare, we're looking at preventive medicine, we're looking at trying to help people better themselves. You know, these are all things that are useful for each person on this, and it's an education. Joe's just written, we can't be everything to everyone. Exactly. The 7 billion people are all out there, but we can be example for the others. Yes, specific group of people we can focus and help. Most likely, they are who were last year, who we were last year. Through our mess, we found our message. Good job. There you go. There's a little thing for Dr. Raj. Through our mess, we find our message.
Hey, Lawrence, if I could comment on something, you know, I wouldn't be here today if I didn't place a scanner. Luckily, in the first couple of months when I did this part-time, I had other businesses. And while Dan mentioned it, I don't think it took 6 months, but he didn't happen right away, was the point. But
No,
before
it was
this,
6 months. It was 6 months.
Was it 6? It
Yeah.
didn't seem that long. For me, I had a golf business. Was a golf professional, and I think that placing that first scanner is like someone hitting, going out and getting their first par or birdie. And once you do that, it's like, wow, I can do this again, right? And I was fortunate that I casually was working the business part-time while I had other businesses, and I placed my first device. That was with Dr. Arturo Lizano. Many of you have seen him on here before. And if it wasn't for that little taste of victory, I don't know if I would be here. I don't know if I could have hung out 6 months. I had so many other businesses and things, but I saw the value of this. So I just wanted to point that out.
No, it's for me, it's the thrill of the hunt. Getting all of those no's, and then when you finally get that yes, I mean, that's when the high kicks in. And then you get all that all those chemicals going through your body that make you feel good, and you want more of that. It's kind of
Do it again.
Yeah, do it again. How am I going to make it happen again? And how do I make it happen quicker again? It's just finding your stride. And once Mike Maleo, who's on the team, he's like, yeah, I haven't placed a scanner yet. He's like, but I know that once I place that first scanner, everything's going to be so much easier. He's working out of desperation at this point. And I'm trying to calm him down, because I'm like, when you're working out of desperation, people can see that, people can feel that. And then you lose a lot of what you're trying to get a point across in the message, because they're the people that you're talking to are focused on the desperation that they can see. But we really need, to Lawrence's point, what's that catalyst that is going to make you change your life from what it is today to what you want it to be in the future? Is it a 9-to-5 job? Is it your job asking you to work extra shifts too many times? Is it you only get 2 weeks of vacation a year? You haven't had a raise in 4 years. What is that catalyst that is going to make you go out and take what you know and your experience and help other people, serve other people?
And what you just said, Dan, that it's really exciting when you go out and you place a scanner. The only thing that I've enjoyed more in this business is introducing it to someone else and seeing their success. I can't take responsibility for that, but just knowing that I gave them the opportunity to look at something and they could make their own success, that's what really gets me going now.
Yeah, and this is a network marketing business. So if you're not out talking to people on a regular basis, on a daily basis, it's difficult to grow your business that way, right? So I always carry business cards with me. Yesterday I was sitting at the hotel trying to do a little bit of work before I went ziplining, and there was about, I don't know, 20 soccer teams came in, kids soccer teams, and they were all had their moms there. And I'm just like licking my chops. I'm like, oh my God, which one can I talk to first? Because they're sitting around watching these soccer games, taking their kids to practice. And, unfortunately, it was so crazy. I couldn't talk to anybody, but I ended up talking to about 5 or 6 people. Oh, there ended up being a Smith and Nephew rep that was in there a little bit later. So I ended up talking to him, and he was there with his manager, who's from Pittsburgh, and they were super interested in what I was telling them. Gave them my business cards. They're like, yeah, we'll definitely reach out to you. We want to learn more about this. I went to an outdoor store, and there was a girl there. She was a BYU student, and she was talking about her major, which is about personal growth and helping people, serving people. And, I started telling her about this mindset call and the stuff that we do through personal growth and leadership. And, I invited her to get on a couple of calls. I gave her my business card. Then 2 families that I was zip lining with, one of them was really interested in it. She was a teacher. She had used some of the products in the past, but with COVID and everything, the teachers have been spending a lot more money out of their pocket to pay for resources. And so she's thinking about, hey, how can I make a few extra bucks? And we had that conversation, and she's going to reach out to me. So, you never know where that next piece of gold is going to come from. It's sifting through all that dirt to get to that gold. So always be, I don't want to say always be closing, but always be networking.
And just by the way, I'm looking at my little notes up here on one of my boards is, Teachers Appreciation, Nurses Week, breast cancer awareness. There's all kinds of awareness months and so on. And if we just be attentive to that, and we'll be able to find people of similar thinking to ours, where we're talking about health and wellness, and we're talking about people who want to help other people. And most people on this call are all people that have a big heart, want to help other people. And by helping other people, we help ourselves. The more successful people we can create, the more we can help to achieve their goals, the more successful we become. It's as simple as that. We talk about getting people to become a Ruby, and then how many rubies you can create. Well, guess what? It helps you as well. I don't know, we're all past the time a little bit. I'm sorry. Does anybody have any question or anything they want to add or anything they want to comment? Please feel free. If not, then.
Lawrence, great call, Dan. In the beginning, you said that in the canyon, those little dots on the bottom were all people, and it's funny we end up talking about how dots are people. You're looking for those people that you can relate to because they are who you were a year to 5 years ago, and everything in Time to Thrive has been an amazing example. And that gentleman who you're talking about ended up selling his business for over $50 million. 5 years ago, he was bankrupt and staying at his girlfriend's parents' house, and they let him stay there. So it's been really inspiring to listen to that program through Tony Robbins. And it's been awesome hearing you guys. And I appreciate what you guys do from an altruistic point of view, from a leadership point of view, to do this call every week. And thank you very much for being an example for all of us. Thank you.
We have so much access to so much information right now, more than in the history of the world, and we have so much access to so many people, more than any time in history in the world. And so everything's changing, everything is shifting, and we have an opportunity through our business to serve others and help others. So
the self-education age, it's a ride. There's so much information out there now. What do we do with it? We educate ourselves, and it's showing that the models that have been in the past that have been effective are now somewhat almost deemed obsolete in a way. The only thing they mentioned, not to regurgitate everything from the seminar, is the only thing that is good about college, and I went to grad school as well, and I borrowed, is that you borrowed from your future self to be successful in the future. But unfortunately, 77% of the people who go to college don't end up using their degree, for what they went to school for. So we're reinventing ourselves in this society. We have a digital age here, and creating these types of products and partnering with a company like Nu Skin, they allow us to be, corporate partners for what we're doing on an individual and purpose level to help other people.
Thank you, Joe. I cannot not say something now. I have to mention this. Dr. David Rosenberg is a concierge doctor in Jupiter, and he made a presentation, several, but on one of those presentations, he very proudly showed his son's graduation. When you're talking about borrowing against yourself, for the future, borrowing for your own future. He was at his son's graduation with his wife and his son, obviously, and his daughter, and he was very proudly showing this picture of that graduation. And he said something that absolutely struck me like a thunderbolt. He said, the year of my son's graduation was the year I finished paying for my college loan, my student loan. And I thought, my God, that was 20-something years to pay off a loan. That's horrible. And then, fast forward 4 years, another presentation, he said, well, here I am, and I managed to pay for my son's education in 4 years, thanks to this business, doing just part-time for this business. So I just want to put that into perspective. When we're talking about education, we're talking about the dot, we're talking about all of these things and what motivates you. All of these things are really relevant for each one of us. Something clicks in each one of us to take action. And as Dan says, why wait?
Absolutely. Why wait? Get started today. Don't waste another minute thinking about it. How am I going to get started? What are other people going to think about me if this doesn't work or if I'm not successful? Who cares?
Who cares? Exactly.
Why wait? Get started today. Don't waste another minute.
No more excuses. No more excuses.
No more excuses. I'm gonna get some made up that say why wait. Or
there you go. Good one. Yeah.
And I'm gonna forget to give Lawrence one after 40 years, but everybody else had one. Don't worry about that.
Maybe he only gives them the ones that need a constant reminder.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. So, all right. Anybody, any other comments?
Just that those people who you may be concerned about what they're thinking will never be with you on these success trips.
Yeah, no.
And you'll be with all those people who really care about you.
Absolutely. It's good. I'm looking forward to Jamaica. It's going to be a great time. All right, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for the call. This was terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Every
guys.
week at 9:30, bring along some guests, invite some other members of your team to get on. Let's boost the
Thank
numbers
you.
up a bit. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Happy birthday, Joe.
Happy birthday, Joe.
Yes, happy birthday, Joe.